just a few weeks away, maybe a month away, from issuing the final rule on commercial learner's permit, the commercial driver's license. In many states, some states have commercial learner permit requirements of 2 weeks or more. There is no national standard. This rule, as you saw at the proposed stage, will put that in place, also identify some clear testing standards for states to follow. Most states have already adopted those testing standards by virtue of their relationship with the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators. But we're a few weeks away from that being the final rule. We're working on the entry-level driver training rule, something that I suspect is very close to TCA's heart because you have such a strong link with training institutions, training organizations, and making training very much a part of what you do. Driver physical qualifications. I still don't have a definite time frame on some of the things like obstructive sleep apnea, but it's very much on our list of things to tackle within the next 12 to 18 months. But before we get to that, you will see the National Registry of Certified Medical Examiners. This expectation that physicians, the medical community that is providing DOT physicals to the drivers you're hiring, needs as much integrity restored to it as some other sectors. And that's a sector that we have both developed a rule as well as a system and a curriculum and testing process for medical providers to be certified, established in the registry, and then eventually the DOT physical that is stored at the state level attached and matched to that physician or that medical service provider to ensure the system, there's integrity in the process. So that's a very important piece of one of our initiatives over this next 12 months. Is making sure that the drivers who you are putting behind the wheel of your equipment, the wheels of your equipment, whether you've got a customer sales fleet or you're running tractor trailers, is ensuring that that driver is in fact a safe driver and did not in fact have a violation or a conviction or some incident the day before or the week before that you don't know about. And ensuring we're not yet at a point where nationally we have a driver notification process or an employer notification system like some states have, like California has, New York has, where you can subscribe to updates on your driver's records and know within 24, 48, or a week's time what's the status of that driver before you put them behind the wheel of a truck. But what the FMCSA has been able to do is develop and make available a pre-employment screening tool that provides the 5-year history of that driver's violation and that driver's, in effect, their driver performance from the federal regulatory perspective. That PSP is a tool that's available to employers before you hire a driver. And in many companies, we've seen them use, once you've gone through all the other screening tools that you do as you're recruiting. And then when you've got your final pool of qualified candidates running that PSP record to see how they look across the board. In some cases, it identifies employers you didn't know that prospective driver worked for. So we really applaud the companies that are using PSP and encourage all of you to take advantage of that tool. It's absolutely available at any point you dial into our website. A long-haul trucking program. As you know, early this year, Secretary LaHood unveiled a concept document that identified the key elements of a long-haul cross-border trucking program within the parameters of the pilot that are established in statute, but also in the context of our need as a country to fulfill and comply with NAFTA, with our international relationships with our neighbors to the south. So this program, now that additional detail has come out on it, incorporates very strong safety standards and enables, through what we've defined as both a robust but a highly integrated, very safe program, the opportunity for Mexico to lift tariffs that have done so much harm to many of our farmers and other industries in the U.S., $2+ billion in tariffs. So behind the long-haul cross-border trucking program concept is a pre-operations component that involves a very rigorous screening process we call the pre-authority screening audit, pre-authority safety audit, a PASA, it's called PASA. And that PASA involves not just a screening of the carrier and the drivers, both safety records as well as criminal history, but also a screening by Homeland Security of the drivers themselves. All the qualifications needed to be a carrier, ability to be insured, etc. Once a carrier actually would make it through that PASA, there's a component of examination and close scrutiny of any equipment that would be authorized across the border. By the way, before they can get to that authorization, they have to have acquired insurance from a U.S. insurance provider. Crossing that border there for a certain period of time would mean every vehicle, every driver, every time is inspected. And under federal law, even when that part is lifted, there's already a federal requirement that all drivers crossing the border in commercial vehicles be inspected 50% of the time regardless. So in that early phase, it's very close scrutiny, and then it expands into what all of you have seen as the normal new entrant process, where someone has provisional authority, and presuming they continue safe operations and fulfill a safety audit, they then, after 18 months, are able to obtain full authority.